Welcome to Motoring TV and welcome to beautiful British Columbia. Now, you know the moniker of the show is stories about cars and the people who drive them. So we asked you to put your name forward to drive a brand new vehicle. And we had auditions from all across the country. We chose one special young man from here in BC. His name is Marcus, and he chose to drive the Subaru Crosstrek, which has been updated within the past year. So we're here in beautiful BC. We're going to get his thoughts on the car, but first, let's meet the new Crosstrek. The Crosstrek is the most popular Subaru, and it has recently been updated with a more powerful engine option. The base engine is a 2-liter 4-cylinder boxer design with 152 horsepower, matched to either a manual transmission or CVT. On 2 trims, the new outdoor model and the top limited trim, there's a larger 2.5-liter version with 182 horsepower. All Crosstrek models come standard with Subaru's all-wheel drive, and all automatic equipped cars come with Subaru's EyeSight Advanced Safety Suite. The interior is fitted with a standard 6.5-inch infotainment system with standard Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but most trims get the larger 8-inch unit. The Crosstrek has soared to be the top-selling Subaru, and a big part of this is the price. This utility starts at $23,795 and goes all the way up to $34,495 for the top limited trim our guest reviewer is driving. So the Crosstrek is Subaru's bestseller, and ever since they introduced this new model with more power, sales have just exploded. So that's the car. Let's meet our guest reviewer, Marcus.
I grew up here in Coquitlam, BC, and here with my family, my parents, my sister, my brother-in-law, and I love cars, and it's just kind of carried through the years. I've loved driving now and, keep up to date with all the new models and features and specs and all that. So it's been a lifelong thing, really.
Get ready for Motoring 88.
I remember as a kid watching with my dad on a Sunday afternoon, watching Motoring TV and just getting to see all these different cars being driven around and tested. And yeah, I've been following the show for many years. I love watching some of those old videos of that I remember as a kid watching.
Test Drive with Graham Fletcher.
We started counting the years because of the license plate, Motoring 89, and the next year would be 90. And then I remember, Motoring 2000, and I don't know when the number stopped, but yeah, I still remember those years counting every year.
I wanted to, get into a car that really sort of suits me and try it out. I mean, I've got a Volkswagen Alltrack, which is sort of the Volkswagen version of the Crosstrek, and I feel like it'd probably be like a good vehicle to get me to trailheads and into the mountains. But again, come back into the city and, be easy to parallel park when we're going for brunch downtown, that sort of thing. And yeah, I think it's a peppy, fun little car from what I've heard. So that's sort of what I'm expecting from this.
Okay, Marcus, have you ever driven a Subaru before?
I might have once in my detailer days, but not recently.
And this is your first time ever driving a Crosstrek, which is great. Now, what you thought it was going to be like and how it is, does it differ in your mind about what you thought the Crosstrek was going to be?
A little bit. I mean, I drive a VW Alltrack, and because they're very similar vehicles, or at least the premise is sort of the same, it's a jacked up station wagon hatchback thing. Just first getting into the Crosstrek, it's actually a lot different than I expected. It sits a lot higher up, and I think just because my Alltrack is a stick, the CVT is a little bit different, but I'm actually pretty surprised. It's pretty smooth, it's pretty responsive. So it's a different car, but in some ways it serves the same purpose. This viewer review gives me the opportunity to sort of share my unique brand of car enthusiast. I like quirky cars. I like sort of sleepers as well. Performance and all that is great, and I really appreciate that as well. But there's something about the culture of cars and what they mean to people that, I really like to look into and sort of share with others.
Now you're driving the top limited trim. I think it's nicely put together. You've got the leather seats, the sunroof, you've got the large infotainment screen. It's pretty easy to use, right?
Yeah, I love what they've done in the interior. I know with my car, it's a little bit gray, but I like that Subaru's tossed in some of these metallic pieces, and I know there's the orange stitching on this trim as well. And even with the leather seats, having the two-tone and, you know, having the nice goodies like the sunroof, you know, make it an enjoyable car to drive just around town and in the city.
And the next one is the
Range Rover,
right, and the next one,
Volkswagen,
right.
the Jeep.
You know, when he was like 4, he can line them all up and he would start naming them all. Even when he couldn't pronounce the name, you know, like Camaro, he would say Camaro, and you know, that was really something that stuck in my mind.
The Tomato.
You know, I can say I'm truly old school. This is the first CVT that I've been in.
It's been great having my dad in the car to drive around and hear his impressions, because he's got a different perspective from me. He's much more of a engineering, technical kind of guy, and it's great to hear those pieces of it and mix it in with sort of my view. He really appreciated the CVT, and CVTs sometimes get a bad rap in the enthusiast world, but this one was nice and smooth, it was fairly refined, relatively quiet. And the full-time all-wheel drive as well was great in the rain and probably in the snow as well.
For a so-called small package, it's got a lot of quietness to it, smoothness to it, just the fit and finish, the quality of the whole thing. You just don't think you can improve on it, but I guess they'll always try to. Very nice.
For work, I'm a career counselor, and so I work as a case manager where I get to know people and see what they're looking for, what their situation is, and take a look at all the different things that they need to get back to work and find a job.
So Subaru recently upgraded the Crosstrek to an optional engine. You're actually driving the limited version, which has this larger 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine. It's also available on another trim called the Outdoor. The difference really between that one and the one you're driving is you have leather seats and a sunroof, and the Outdoor has the faux leather seats and without a sunroof, and they're very similar. The 2.5-liter engine has 182 horsepower, which is 30 more than the regular Crosstrek. Now, the way you're driving here today, is it fulfilling your needs for power?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, in town, it's great. It's got good pickup off the line. Even when I was driving it on the highway, it downshifted, or quote unquote downshifted. I mean, the CVT really mimics that well. And it has good pickup, enough to pass on the highway, get me up hills, up to the mountains, that sort of thing as well. So, you know, it's got more than enough power just to get me around. I feel like Subaru is more of a youthful brand these days, and it does kind of appeal to those folks that are a little bit quirky, but still, I guess, a little bit more modern. And I guess more like myself, I'm sort of that millennial weekend warrior, and I think the brand itself sort of reflects that. It's a very outdoorsy, athletic sort of brand, but it also still has sort of those practical bits that really suit my lifestyle.
So one thing I find interesting, I get your feedback on this, is even though the Crosstrek is a small footprint, it actually gives you the sense of a utility that you're sitting up a little higher, the outward visibility. Like, the one thing I like about that car are the huge windows. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I mean, even just sitting in this car, it's so airy. Like, there's a lot of room. The glass is huge. Even the view out the front, I mean, the A-pillars are pretty small. You've got the little side windows beside the mirrors. You get a lot of light in here, and just the visibility is incredible. Even out the back, just taking a look at the rear view mirror, you know, I can see everything. It's not like a little slit in the back of the car.
The brand is known for all-wheel drive, and they're known for their advanced eyesight safety feature. Is that something that you were aware of, and is it a consideration for you?
Yeah, it's nice to have, and it's nice to know that there are systems sort of looking out for me. Yesterday when I was sitting in traffic started to move. I got a little message in the gauges to let me know that cars were moving forward. I'm not getting too close to the lines, but every so often I could feel a little bit of the feedback from the lane departure, sort of guiding me back into the center of the lane. So, it's a good safety blanket to know those systems are there. The car's looking out for me. When folks think of car people, I think it's a lot of power, speed, all of that. There's such diversity amongst car enthusiasts. And this is just one example of that, is that I get to review a car that I really enjoy and serves a particular purpose that I have, to be able to have that opportunity to share with others and give a different perspective in the car world or represent a different part of the car world is a big honor.
So Marcus, your first ever automotive review on national TV, how did that go?
It was an amazing time. It was so much fun to drive the Crosstrek and get to see it in its natural habitat and drive it around the city and just get to live with it.
All right, I say Subaru Crosstrek. Give me 3 things you think about.
Styling, the plastic cladding, the raised ground height. It looks like an SUV, but doesn't have all the drawbacks of the size of it. The other thing I think of is the practicality. I mean, you lift the hatch and put down the seats. There's plenty of room to throw gear in the back and go wherever. And just fun to drive and efficient. It's a great car for the city as well.
Well, Marcus, we always let our guests do the honors of closing out the show. Away you go.
Absolutely. Well, that's all for now, but stay tuned for more stories about cars and the people that drive them, like me.
If you consider Motoring TV's been on the air for 30+ years, there's no doubt you've missed a few episodes. Well, there's a couple of ways you can catch up and make sure you don't miss anything. First, you can go to YouTube and look up just segments or complete shows. Also, if you want to know what we're doing, like today on a daily basis, just go to our Facebook page. And also, you can go to motoringtvshop.com, get some cool swag. Oh, there's also that Instagram thing.